I think we've actually had some hip-hop things going on. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. You can, there's a lot of information that's up on our Facebook. We try to bring speakers who would engage with youth audiences, and there's a lot of opportunity for average Germans to meet American officials and just discuss topics of mutual interest. I started my Foreign Service career in the German Democratic Republic, and it was very striking for somebody who I'd never lived overseas to go from spending my whole life in America to that environment. And thank God for West Berlin. You know, West Berlin was 3-4 blocks from my flat on Leipziger Strasse, so I could go to West Berlin very often, see all the great things that were there, like good Italian food, for example, or restaurants that had lots of people in them, and life. You know, the West Berlin buzzed. East Berlin was the opposite. East Berlin was, you could almost capture the essence with black and white film. You know, it wasn't exactly Dorothy stepping out of that house in The Wizard of Oz into Technicolor when you went to West Berlin, but there was a noticeable difference. On the other hand, I think there were so many distractions in the West, and this is true of America too, that that didn't exist in the East, that people spent more time developing personal relationships. And I had a few East Germans that were on my staff, so I got to know some East Germans, and you could see the engagement that they had with their circle of friends, with their family, was deep and meaningful. Not that we don't have that in the West, but it was because of the lack of distractions. It was maybe of more importance. You weren't as free. Of course, we were American officials too. I don't know if the average East German had the same level of concern with their personal life that the American officials did, but more importantly, I'll tell you an anecdote. My first son was born in late October '86, and my parents and my brother came over for the christening, and it was the holiday time. And there were some Christmas markets and things, lots in West Berlin, a few in East Berlin. But my father and my brother saw a line outside a store, and they got in this line, and there was an East German in front of them who could speak English. And he told them that they were lined up for bananas, and that was what they really looked forward to at holiday time because bananas were available. And he was looking forward to being able to retire so that he could move to West Berlin and get bananas every day. And you know, you don't think about that sort of thing. That's probably a big difference from what you grew up with. Yes, because I got to the Soviet Union in 1991. For East Germany, that first year that I was there, '86, was the 25th anniversary of the construction of the anti-fascist protection barrier, and I went to the parade to celebrate its construction. You know, August 13th, 1986, and I saw the whole Politburo up there on the riser, FDJ marching by, the East German military marching by, and you would think that they planned on that isolation going on forever. But at the same time, we knew Gorbachev was in power in the Soviet Union, Perestroika was rolling out. I couldn't see, and I don't think anybody in the embassy could see from 1988 that the wall would be down in a year and a half. So it was surprising and wonderful, but the rot, when you think about it and look back, the rot was so clear from the inside that it probably just took a good shove, which the East Germans themselves provided with their protests, and then the voting with their feet through Czechoslovakia and through Hungary. So yeah, when I got to the Soviet Union in '91, I was in Leningrad. You know, there was the putsch against Gorbachev. there was clearly a society that wasn't functioning. The elites were at each other's throat. You know, change was very clearly on its way. Leningrad changed back to St. Petersburg a couple of weeks after I got there, and then on Christmas Day that year, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. It's not really like that at all. You meet great and interesting people, but the James Bond stuff, you know, forget about it. First of all, I'd never be able to run that fast, so that ain't gonna happen. But you know, what I tell people is that, you know, you think that we travel a lot, but actually they take you and they plunk you down at a post, and you stay there for a few years. And if you get to travel, you know, it just means that there's some travel money available, and it is an important part of our job in Germany to get out and meet with people. But I'm not traveling the world from here. I'm in Germany, which is great. No, I think the Foreign Service is a wonderful way to make a living, because you know, you have the honor of representing your country. You're engaged in public affairs. I mean, I have no illusions that I'm making policy for the United States, but I have a pretty good front row seat on things that are of great importance. Well, everybody in the Foreign Service is smart, so but they should also be interested. You know, you really need to be curious about people, events, history, and opportunities to build relationships and connections. And if you have those qualities, and a little bit of patriotism, I'd say it's a fantastic way to serve your country. That's a great question. I'm an immigrant kid. My father was born and raised in Ireland, and so I grew up in a house where things other than American football and American baseball were what my father watched. So I do like soccer a lot, but being an American and from New Jersey, of course, you know, if the Giants are on, I'm watching.